informed that it is officially 4:30. If we could kind of tone it down here in the chambers a little bit. Excuse me, call the meeting to order. So I'd like to call to order the special city council meeting of December 13th, 2022. Nova, could I get a roll call, please?
Yes. Councilmember Barron?
Here.
Councilmember Tice?
Here.
Councilmember Ferlito?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Richards?
Here.
Mayor Potter?
Here.
All are present.
Carrie, I'm going to do this one more time. Could you lead us again to the pledge for your last time? Thank you.
Ready? You can.
Thank you, Carrie. Well done, as always. All right, next item is public appearance items. This is an item for anybody to comment on any item that is not on the agenda tonight. There's a 3-minute limitation on testimony. I appreciate if you'd come forward and state your name. Is there anybody wishing to testify tonight? Really? All righty. Well, then I will close the public comment period and move on to the order of business tonight. We have one item of business, which is certification of the election, declaring the results of the general municipal election held in the city of Carmel-by-the-Sea on November 8th, 2022. Excuse me, November. I've got my glasses on. It's 8th.
Yeah.
8th, 2022. And the appointment of Mayor Pro Tem by the city of Carmel-by-the-Sea. I'd like to appoint Bobby Richards as Mayor Pro Tem. That motion stands. Is there anybody in objection wishing to speak to this item? No certifiers or deniers of the election? Okay. All righty. Can we have a motion then?
I move that the City Council adopt Resolution 2022-109, declaring the results of the general municipal election held in the city of Carmel-by-the-Sea on November 8th.
Well,
A second?
all right, we have a motion and a second. Hopefully there's no other discussion. Nova, could you call the roll, please?
Yes. Councilmember Barron?
Yes.
Councilmember Tice?
Yes.
Councilmember Ferlito?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Richards?
Yes.
Mayor Potter?
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, now to the most extraordinary business we've had in a long time. That is to say goodbye to our colleague for many, many years, Carrie Tice. Look to Bobby Richards first for opening comments. Bobby?
Thank you, Mayor. Carrie, it's been a pleasure. It's your dedication and passion for the city is remarkable. Your loyalty is unbelievable. And thank you very much. It's been a pleasure, and I look forward to seeing you at the next ribbon cutting.
Jeff?
Yes, I would just like to say thank you, Carrie, for all of the guidance at the beginning of my term 4 years ago, and all of the help with the Climate Change Committee and your leadership on that, and many other interests in town. I've really enjoyed working with you over the course of these past 4 years, and I wish you all the future success. And I do, in honor, for those of you that don't know, Carrie has been my steadfast drinking buddy after council meetings, at least sort of before and after the pandemic. And here's a bottle of tequila. From our personal collection.
Well done, Jeff.
Thank you.
Karen?
Yes, I would just like to thank you, Carrie, for your excellent example of being prepared for every single meeting. It has really been an inspiration to me. I can tell you have done your homework each and every meeting, and I think that's exemplary. And thank you so much for trying to teach me how to use my iPad to record the meetings ahead of time. And just thank you for being a really wonderful citizen in Carmel, coming up with creative ideas and community-oriented ideas through your business. So I look forward to you staying involved, and but I also wish you great luck in your visits in Portugal to see your grandchild, and the time to do that. So thank you so much.
Yeah. Chip, would you like to say a few words?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. For everyone's benefit, Councilmember Tice, for better or for worse, hired me, the last member on this current council who hired me, I don't know, 8 or 9 years ago. So I think I thank you for that. Councilmember Tice has been instrumental in getting the city's finances under control. with the rest of the team, and I tribute to, I thank you for that work. The refinancing of the lease obligation bond for Sunset Center, for the work on our pension obligations, for the lease on the Sunset Center, the long-term lease. And for everyone's benefit, Councilmember Tice set the bar for customer service. Being in hospitality, when I started, it was very important to her that we increase the professionalism and the level of customer service, not just in City Hall, but in all city facilities. And I hope we've met that bar. So thank you for everything you've done. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your friendship and your counsel over the last, again, 8 years. And again, thank you for bringing me here, I think. And happy birthday next week. Next Tuesday, you won't have to prepare for a council meeting, so congratulations on that.
Carrie, on behalf of the city of Carmel-by-the-Sea and myself, I want to thank you for your service. I think nobody realizes what it's like to actually be a member of the council and have to take time out from your business. 3 of us are actually businessmen. Every day, get up and go to work, and then have to come back and spend 4 hours a day. If you took 4 hours a day times 7, that's 28. Times 4, that's an amazing amount of hours that you have to spend doing the public's business for how much? $100 a month? $150 a month. I mean, that's a hell of a bang for the buck, I tell you. Carrie, it's been an absolute pleasure working with you. I really appreciate it. I told you after maybe a glass of wine too many the other night, I'm going to really miss you on council. I know we had our doubts about each other. You've been part of a team, and it's really great to have you. I'm sorry to lose a team member, but I do think we're getting another valuable member. So, Carrie, thank you so much. Let me give you something from, this is from us. Yeah.
Okay.
That's beautiful.
And something more permanent than flowers which may fade. This is actually a cypress tree with a commemorative recognition from the council members.
Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That'll last forever. So now if we could, Nova, we're going to administer the oath of office to those of us that have been re-elected and elected newly. Oh, so I'm sorry, Carrie, I'm sorry. Good grief, my apologies. Yeah, my apologies. Trying to move on here too quickly.
You do that really well, but I have to interrupt this one time. Thank you so much. I'm very touched by all your comments and the support of everybody. It's hard to believe it's been 10 years, and when doing this, you remember your first vote. My first vote ended up in a lawsuit that we eventually won, but so you remember things like that, and the people up here, we're up here because we love this community. We feel blessed to be living in Carmel, and I'm blessed to be able to have been in a position to serve. It really was an extraordinary experience. I need to thank my family because, as Dave said, they understand the time that you have to go to all these events and meetings. So my mother Doris is here, my husband Kevin is here, so thank you for understanding the commitment that has transpired over these 10 years. I also have to thank my staff. You know, you run a hotel, it's 7 days a week, as Janine knows, and so I really have to thank them for allowing me to be here and always being there for me. I really appreciate working with the staff and Chip. You really get to know how the government works and how you make it happen by having this type of position. And the staff are great. It's really fun to get to know them and work with them and realize how hard they work and what great staff Chip has. I'm going to miss a few things. I'm going to miss making things happen and being a part of the democratic process that I really take to heart. What I've learned that there's 2 sides to every story. So don't, you know, when that person gets you on the street and they tell you their side of the story, try to find out what the other side viewpoint is before you jump on the bandwagon. And I've also tried to listen more than I talk, maybe not so much tonight, but other times. understanding the governmental process is really important. And being in a small town, the local government is really where we make things happen, and it's apolitical. That's what I love about it. And that's really important to understand. Getting to know the community, getting to know the people better is part of our jobs, and it's really the most fun. Being in hospitality, that's the best part. And what I have also learned, that even through challenging times, and I've been through a few, this community really comes together and moves forward. And that is really important. So that's why it's such a pleasure to do what we do, even though it's not always easy, but we know that we can move forward. I'm proud that I've been a part of several things. I look back, and I'm proud that we don't have porta potties on the south part of Carmel Beach anymore, that we actually have a restroom that is award-winning, even though it was expensive, I will admit, but we had to make a decision sooner or later. I enjoy the community feeling of the farmers market. We had to do some tough things like pension reform and improve financial system to make it easy on the staff. And I'm proud that we, as colleagues, work in a respectful manner. And I think that is really special. As you can see around Washington and around the state, not everybody does that. But that's how we make things happen, is by being respectful. People have asked what I'm going to do. Well, I do have a granddaughter, and so that'll be exciting. I do have a business, and I'm trying to figure out what retirement looks like. So we're trying to figure that out. We've been 75 years, so I'm trying to figure out what the next 75 are going to be. So stay tuned. And I want to congratulate Mayor for another successful campaign, Jeff and Alessandra. And I wish you all the best, because in the end, we are all trying to do what's best for Carmel and our village in the forest by the sea. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Carrie, thank you. Thank you. Well done. Incredibly well said, as always, Carrie. You will be missed, honestly. So with that noted, we will now go on to taking the oath of offices. First of all, we'd like to have Jeff Barron go down. Jeff, if we could go down here, we're going to do it individually, I believe. Is that right, Nova? Yeah.
All right, so just raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I state your name.
Do solemnly
I, Jeff Barron,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will
and that I will
well and faithfully
discharge the duties
upon which I'm about to enter.
upon which I am about to enter.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Here, here. Very good. Alessandra.
I state your name.
I, Alessandra Dremov,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will
and that I will
well and faithfully
well and faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
upon which I'm about to enter.
upon which I'm about to enter.
Congratulations.
Yeah. No, could I have my mother-in-law and my aunt-in-law please come forward? Janine, would you bring a family Bible forward, please? So when I did this 4 years ago, it was a little bit of a shock to these two ladies, so I would ask them to come forward and hold the family Bible. But it's a pleasure to have you girls do it again. Rita, come on. This time we're not going to raise you. I'm the only one raising my hand. You hold the Bible. You hold the Bible. One of you can hold it. I'll put my hand on it. Okay, here we go. Okay, Rita, you can hold it. Thank you. All right.
Just put this.
So that's good. Yeah, right.
Okay.
Here we go.
I state your name.
I, Dave Potter,
Do solemnly
do
swear
solemnly swear
that I will support and
that
defend
I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of
and the
California
Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and
foreign and
domestic,
domestic,
that I will bear true faith and
that I will
allegiance
bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United
to the
States
Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of
and the
California,
Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental
without
reservation
any mental reservation
or purpose of
or
evasion,
purpose of evasion,
and that I will
and that I will
well and faithfully
well and faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
upon which I am about to enter.
upon which I'm about to enter.
Congratulations.
Thank you, ladies. I'll expect you here at the next swearing in, 101 and 98 right there. Incredible. All right, let me go in then with remarks by sworn new members of the council and sworn in members previously. Jeff, would you like to start? Alessandra, after Jeff?
Places with Alessandra?
Sure.
As many of you know, I knock on doors, and I have quite a few stories from knocking on doors, and I'd like to tell the one that I remember the most, and the one which I don't know if anybody in here has heard this story. A few months ago, when I was planning my canvassing routes around town, I realized that I'd feel silly if I was standing across the threshold from a constituent who I'd met 4 years earlier, but I couldn't remember their name. As much as my relationship is with the city of Carmel, a good amount of that is actually my relationship with those that live here. And even if I'd only met someone once, it was important to me that meeting number 2 continue the conversation from meeting number 1. And so as I transcribed my 2018 notes into a 2022 notebook, it became clear that I needed to know the homes from which people had moved or had recently passed on. And just as naming a thing summons it into existence, the worst thing happened. I knocked on a door, was invited into a home, was talking to an older gentleman who was sitting at his sofa, and I referenced his recently departed wife. The amount of forgiveness that one is afforded after an incident such as this one, is dependent on the one doing the forgiving. And fortunately, this gentleman was of the forgiving type, and he could not have been more kind. I learned that at its best, the community here can be close-knit and forgiving and lovely, even to the candidate who's knocking on doors to listen to what you have to say. I also realized that even as all of us here sit on this dais and make important decisions that affect the present and the future of Carmel, we must not forget that the people that we lead and represent live in this place. They work in town or commute to their jobs. They raise families in the village, and they send their children to school. They enjoy the downtown and the outdoors and their neighbors. And finally, in the ultimate act of living, they spend their last days here. All of these activities are part of a community of people, and they were all to be cherished. When Hillary Clinton entitled her book, It Takes a Village, was she speaking of a village of buildings or a village of people? It takes a village to keep this village going for all of us who live here, and those of us and those that visit as well. And so I'd like to thank a whole list of people. First, all the volunteer groups that make Carmel a better place to live, and I'll start with Carmel Cares and Dale. I missed the meeting the other day, and for that I'm sorry, but thank you for all of the work that you and your group do. The Friends of the Mission Trail Nature Preserve and the Friends of the Forest, the CRA beach cleanup, the CRA for their beach cleanup and other community efforts, and yes for Carmel. The Friends of the Harrison Memorial Library and the Carmel Public Library Foundation, the 2 Lions Clubs, the 3 Rotaries and the Youth Center, the Garden Club, the CERT team, and the VIPs, and anyone else that I have forgotten. I'd also really like to thank the members of the boards and commissions that volunteer for their services here in town. And I see a couple of you out in the audience. The Planning Commission, the Forest and Beach Commission, the Community Activities Commission, the Harrison Memorial Library Board of Trustees. That library sure has a lot of groups. The Historical Resources Board, the Climate Change Committee, of which Councilmember Tice and I led, and the new Design Tradition Steering Committee. All of these individuals volunteer untold amounts of time to make Carmel a better place to live, and I know that all of us are grateful. And I'd like to say that as much as the 5 of us up here on the dais often get the credit or the blame for the state of affairs in the city, as is deserved, because I do believe that the buck stops here, a large part of that credit really goes to the 35 people that I've named, which is a sizable percentage of our community that actually do volunteer work in sort of this official capacity. I'd like to thank those people that volunteered, that helped me get elected, those people who endorsed me, those people who contributed to my campaign, and especially those people who voted for me. And finally, last but not least, I'd like to thank Chip and your staff. They are ultimate professionals. They do a great job for what we ask of them, and the size of the staff and the demands of the community. So thank you for your leadership, and for all the staff members for doing all that they do. I'd like to thank my fellow council members, Dave and Bobby and Karen and Carrie and now Alessandra. It is always a team effort up here, and we do really work better when we're a team, and I appreciate that, and so thank you for all that. And of course, I'd like to thank my husband, Kevin, who's sitting back there in the back because he didn't want to sit up here in the front. While he does get the occasional story that most of you probably don't get, and while I do think he appreciates those stories, the sacrifices that he makes to deal with my schedule and everything else are enormous. And so I thank him for that. And I'll close by saying it's an honor and a privilege to serve in this position, and I'm very much looking forward to the next 4 years. So thank you very much.
Alessandra, welcome.
Thank you very much. Mr. Mayor, City Council members, City Administrator, and City staff, I am very pleased and honored to join you. I just have some very brief comments. I would like to thank Carrie for her decade of service to our community. She always listened, she was fair, and she did the right thing for Carmel. And she set this bar high for our council members. Thank you, Carrie, we appreciate you. I would like to thank the voters of Carmel. I am grateful to have your support, and I'm eager to get to work for you. We have many issues that will come before the council in the coming months. I would like to have a big vision for some of those subjects rather than a piecemeal reactive approach. I would like to come together with my fellow council members and Mayor Potter, as well as the public, to find long-term solutions to some of these issues which have been unresolved for years. We can come together and do big things for Carmel that will have a positive impact for generations. Lastly, I encourage everyone to get involved, participate in the process, learn about the issues, and speak out so your voices are heard. There is so much that will shape Carmel-by-the-Sea in the generations to come. I greatly look forward to getting started working for you. Thank you again.
Thank you. Well, Jeff, you used the word team, and I think that's what we are up here. We are a team. We are a team that plays together, we work together, we get together, we fight hard. We may not always agree, but we do a very good job of representing this community, which is a very dynamic community, as you all know. Carrie, I'm going to miss you. I seriously mean it. You were a good team player. You worked hard, but I think we've got another woman here who's just going to be just as vigilant, just as forceful, and just as dynamic. So I want to say that it's been a pleasure being the mayor. I'm really appreciative of the fact I've been reelected. I was saying the other day to Janine, you know, I didn't realize how important being a mayor was. I mean, I was with the city of Monterey for 10 years before that. And being local government, Carrie, you said it earlier, local government is where it happens. It's at the local level. Literally, nobody really knows what a county supervisor does. I was a county supervisor for 20 years. Nobody gave a damn about me. Now I'm the mayor of this town, and everybody's like, oh my God, you're the mayor of Carmel-by-the-Sea. Carmel is an internationally renowned city. We're known across this world. I mean, anywhere I go, everybody says, where are you from? I go, Carmel-by-the-Sea. They go, Carmel, California, really? It's an honor to be here. It's an honor to be your representative. I really take it very seriously and very appreciative of that position. I want to thank Bobby Richards for his dedication, Vice Mayor. I want to thank Carrie for her service. Karen, you've been a great asset. You've been great. Jeff, you've been great. And Alessandra, I'm looking forward to having you aboard. We're going to have some discussions. It'll be spirited. It'll be fun. But we are Carmel-by-the-Sea, and if we got along every single day, it'd be dull. So I want to thank you all for your participation. I look forward to seeing you all here again very soon. So thank you all. Okay. We now stand adjourned.
Wait a minute, aren't we going to have comments?
No?